In the last episode, we were yelled at by the art gallery, which long story short means we're 1,960 diamonds in debt in order to buy a giant painting. Turns out Mr. Gold also has similar issues, so we teamed up to create a massive tunnel bore. That'll get the job done. And in this episode, certain plans related to storage are changing, but it's not a bad thing. Let's talk more about it. Now, if you've been watching for more than a couple episodes, you'll recognize this mess. Basically, everything I had piled in this tower behind me, I put at my front door. This would force me to quickly reorganize it and quickly store it in the market district. That was the original plan. However, as you can imagine, this is gonna have to change. I got really busy streaming over on Twitch. I did a charity event. I've been doing a ton of things for viewers over on my solo world. And you know what? This project just had to go on the back burner. With Dane the Noodle Man being such a help to organize everything, it's kind of worked out. I've been able to access everything I need pretty easily, and it's not really been in the way because this base is massive. We were here just a moment ago, but the original plan was to make this market district bustling, make all the shops and everything, and organize the storage into different shops. Although because the interiors take a really long time to do, I'm just not sure I'm gonna have time to do that before season end. Pair that with the fact that I want to at least finish all the districts in this base before season end, I'm gonna have to think differently about this. The solution being centralized storage, and where you might ask? Well, if we pass through the portal here into this amazing tower chamber, there is a bit of a secret. I think you've seen it before, but if we climb down this ladder, there is a massive hole that I've dug with the help of Dakota May to provide all the stone for this base. We won't need all this space, but you know what? It's a space that's already cleared out. It's out of the way, and we can make an easy way to access it with Elytra. So I think this is the perfect place to lay out a bunch of chests, do a quick design, make it look good, and this is gonna be our brand new central storage. So let's come up with a plan. Step number one is getting a layout. Obviously, I don't want to use this entire basement because that would be absolutely massive. I just don't need that much. So I'm starting with laying out a sizable rectangle of what I think I'll need. And at this point, I have no idea what the design is going to be. So knowing how much space I have to work with is going to be a big help. Step number two, I'm laying out all the chests. As you can see again, this is nothing fancy, it's a square room lined with chests. Now I am leaving a little bit of space in the corners so I can build some detail into it. And as you can imagine, I also don't have enough wood to actually place all these chests. So let's quickly go figure that out. And to fix this problem, do you guys remember towards the beginning of the season when I made a deal with Mr. Gold? I don't remember what I offered him, but he offered me unlimited access to his bamboo farm, so we're gonna go get the chest from there. You know, it really does seem like we bother him every episode now. I'm sure he doesn't mind. And here we are, this beautiful big bamboo farm. Look at it, it's filled up to the brim. Well, almost to the brim. But this is gonna be plenty of chests that we need. So let me do a bit of crafting and we'll go back to the work site. And just like that, we have almost 8 stacks of chests. So hopefully this will be enough. Let's head back and see. And again, massive thanks to Mr. Gold. We've got about 2.5 stacks of chests even after crafting all of these, which is perfect. Now I think it's time to start thinking about a design for this place. First of all, the problem is you can see straight through these chests. It's not very good looking. As you walk around, you can see straight into this giant pit we've dug out. So I think I want to line the back with some sea lanterns. And currently, I'm not sure if I have any. Yep, doesn't look like I have any. So we're gonna have to go to the shopping district and see if Victor has any in stock. And here we are at Victor's shop, and Well, that is unfortunate. There are no sea lanterns, so I don't know. Maybe we find Victor's farm and see if we can't craft some ourselves. We'll definitely still pay him for it. And here we are. It took me a second to remember where it was, but let's see if he's got any. Oh, yeah, perfect. He's got some crystals and not a lot of shards, though. You know, sometimes you just have to know when to give up. I've been searching for a while. I have no idea how to get in those farms, and turns out Shay's Guardian farm is kind of right next to Victor's, if I'm thinking correctly. So there's 2 Guardian farms right next to each other that I just can't find out how to get into to AFK, and I don't want to go through the wrong portal and break something, so I've got one other trick up my sleeve, and it's not so much as a trick as it is just me remembering what I should have remembered. Before we get frustrated about not having sea lanterns and forgetting about light blocks, I totally forgot these were a thing, frog lights. Now, Mr. Gold has graciously made these free for the rest of the season, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take, well, might as well take about 9 stacks. You know, if they're free, they're free. You might as well take as many as you need. So let's head back and place these. You know, I really didn't expect this, but these frog lights have just enough color around the corners to really make it noticeable. When you put something like chest in front of it, that is amazing. And there you have it. If you're wanting to add a little bit of color to some boring old chests, be sure to put some frog lights behind it. I imagine this would look really cool with yellow or even the green, whatever will match your storage room. I really like that. All right, and now it's time to actually make this a room. So let's place down some blocks, we'll close it in, and then we can start working on a design. And perfect, this is starting to look like something. It's starting to look like a room and less like a thing floating above a giant pit. And we'll do the ceiling the last thing. I want to get the aesthetics down here first. And then, you know what? It's easy to match up a ceiling to the aesthetics down below. Let's go grab some more building supplies and we'll see what we can come up with. I always find it so fascinating that when you enclose a room, redecorate it, make it look nice, how much smaller it can sometimes look. But I think this is perfect. This is plenty of storage for our needs. And honestly, it's kind of crunch time in Paper Hats Season 4, so we don't need a ton here. This is very perfect. We are missing a couple things though. Number 1 is workstations. We're missing crafting tables, stone cutters, all those nice things that help you craft a bunch of stuff. And not to mention our way out of here. This is currently just a plain old water stream. We need to make this a bubble elevator and we need to make a better way to actually get down into the room. So let me go grab some soul sand and we'll fix this right up. And there we go. As simple as it can be, we've got a way up and then a way down without taking any damage. And we've got fast access to our storage. The only thing left to do is actually move items into here. So we're gonna need a ton of item frames and then just a lot of willpower to get all these items down in here all sorted out. But luckily, Dan the Noodle Man has already sorted them for us. So it's kind of just a click and drag type thing. So let's get to work. guys remember that time I said, hey, you know what, moving my storage won't take that long. It'll only take a few minutes. It won't be hard at all. Well, I was completely wrong about that. Even though Dan the Noodle Man was so kind to categorize everything out on the front lawn, I had to go a step further and categorize it by block variant, which took a really long time. But thank you very much, Dan, once again. It really did save me a lot of time you doing that, so really appreciate it. And I can complain all I want that it took a long time, but it was a long time coming, honestly. I should have done this way earlier in the season, and it looks amazing. Honestly, I think I could have sorted this by color a little bit better, like maybe putting quartz next to diorite, kind of, make a gradient out of it. But like I said, we are in crunch time in Paper Hat Season 4, so it doesn't need to be perfect. This is a place for me to come down here, dump all my items into their corresponding chest, and I can come down here and get them quickly next time I need them. We have to finish this base, so anything that saves me time is a huge help. But without further ado, let's go see what the old chest monster looks like. Oh, and look at this. It is completely clear except for a crafting table and an ender chest, which we don't need that there. Look at that. It is so clean. It hasn't looked this way in so long. Actually months, like maybe a half a year it hasn't looked that way. So I'm super happy to see this. And you've heard me mention it a couple times by now. We are working towards wrapping up Season 4 of Paper Hats. So you might be wondering, what exactly does that entail? What do we have left to do? And that's a good question, because I don't quite know myself. I think for the last part of this video, to keep in the theme of organizing everything, I think we should tally up everything that we need to do in the Imperial City. So let's take a fly around and we can see what we have left to do. So right off the bat, we have finished the Market District. We have 5 other districts. The PvP District, or the Arena District, is underway. I built this on stream, and it's looking pretty cool. It's looking arena-y. It needs a little bit more detail, so we're getting there. That's 2 things. We've got 1 empty district, 2 empty districts, 3 empty districts, and 4 empty districts that we've got to fill up. I have to refer back to the game to see exactly what these are, but I know one is a temple district, and the others are basically just residential districts, so we can just paste down some buildings and be done with that. And now for the biggest project. As you know, when we made this custom island, it is floating. It's not connected to the ocean floor, and that's a problem. We've got to connect it. We can't just build a giant, massive Imperial City and have it floating in the water. That's just not going to work. The good news is over on Twitch, we've been live streaming a lot of this world, and we've done a lot to connect it to the floor. We're about halfway done now. We've used about 13 shulkers of stone, and I suspect we're going to need about 13 more shulkers of stone to finish the other half. So, looking forward to that. That is definitely underway. And there's really no good way to get a time lapse of something underwater. I'm sure I could work something out, but it's just way easier to do this on stream. So, if you want to join in on the fun, go to twitch.tv/drjankovic. We'll be terraforming this part of the island on stream. But other than that, I think the only thing left to do is bring the grass out a little bit and blend this stone with the grass a little bit more, and that will look perfect. If we've got enough time, we will definitely hide the sea lanterns and maybe add a few trees around here, make a little bit of a forest just to fill this island in. But other than that, that's pretty much it. We've got to do the districts, we've got to connect it to the ocean floor, and we've got to level out the terraforming a little bit on the top side of the island. So we got some work ahead of us, and we don't have a lot of time. So expect the next few episodes to have a ton of fast-moving progress. I am excited. I love it when we're in crunch time and I've got a fire under me to get things done. It's usually an exciting time. So let's see what happens. But with that being said, that is all the time I have left for this episode. I know it was a bit shorter, but I hope it was interesting. Please do give me some feedback down in the comments. And otherwise, hope you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you for the next one for episode 28 of Paper Hats Season 4. Thanks so much.